Growing up, I dreamed of the Alaskan wilderness. I imagined how it might look. I wondered what it sounded like. Was it as wild and dangerous as I was told? And if I ever got there, how would it feel? How would I react? Those were a few of my thoughts 30 years ago. I still ask myself many of the same questions today. Alaska's barren ground caribou are well known for their trademark practice of migration. They migrate to the areas that best suit them during the extreme Alaskan seasons. They migrate to elude predators and to conserve their food sources. Caribou migrate for many reasons, but ultimately, their on-the-move lifestyle is paramount to the survival of each individual animal and the species as a whole. I too have migrated each of the past 22 years into Alaska's untamed wilderness. I believe it's a yearning, perhaps an instinct many of us are born with, to learn and adapt, to prosper, and discover what lies beyond. It's in these journeys I feel most alive. Anytime we venture into the unknown, we assume risk. But whether we stay or whether we go, the trials and the figurative wolves of life will always be there. In nature and in life, complacency leads to death. Trails in the tundra and legacies left behind serve as our reminder that we must constantly strive forward and continue along this brief passage we call life. Not only for our own well-being, but also to ensure that we impact others and the world around us. Endless swarms of mosquitoes emerge during the brief Arctic summer. To counteract them, the caribou mob together in large herds and move quickly to giant, centuries-old buttes of ice, or up to the high, cool-swept mountaintops, where they receive a brief respite from the aggravating insects. Moving in a tight mass in repetitious patterns goes against a caribou's defensive instinct. But like all wild animals, they react to the most immediate threat and adapt only when a more imminent danger emerges. In the same manner as a wolf adjusts his tactics to the present behavior of its prey, so too must the hunter. Our strategy on this hunt was to intercept the herds of caribou as their hunger forced them to leave the security of the nearby mountains and feed out into the vast plains of tundra. was a little rough, so Matt's marking out gonna mark out the big pothole we rolled through. There's definitely some caribou here, but obviously they're moving pretty speedily at that. Heading right into the wind.
No. There's a bunch of blue around here. Oh yeah.
3.
Hey, look at this. Look at that. Now come here and look at this. I can't. Rolls up right here. Stacked full of caribou right there. Yeah. If you come down, like you see where the rocks get coarser right there, right above there's just a bucket of cover. Oh, is that little point that's up there? That's just stacked full. It's pretty cool. So you are.
This is home. Matt and Jake are just checking where they landed, finding the ideal line for when they come back and land in my hunters. They are obviously on the move, but there might be thousands still behind them, you know. That knob is full of them. Not a lot of bulls. Mostly cows and calves, but there's a few bulls in here. Definitely as good as anything we've been seeing. We're gonna give her a whirl. This is my lone caribou hunt for the season, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good time. Matt and Glenn seem like pretty good blokes. Aussies they are. So this is their first time in Alaska, so yeah, I think we got a good spot. It's always nice when you can see the mountains, a little bit of snow, got a little blue sky. Wind to keep the bugs away, which is really nice. Especially this early in the season, July 31st. And it's not raining, so I got nothing to complain about. Is that a shooter, Matt?
Yeah. That's what we're going after.
Hey, the pack is right.
Get that sucker, Bill. Hopefully, I can't wait till we land and one of these runs over the hill and blast right.
The fiddle's in the middle, I'm shooting it. You gonna blast straight from there? Pitting my wits against the wily caribou. Brooks Range of Alaska. Jake and Matt heading back to base camp. Pick up Matt and Glenn. Definitely got some caribou around. Probably 400 or 500 that I can see from here. They're on the move, so who knows, this time of year, any time of year, you never know what a caribou is going to do, whether they keep moving or, you know, all you can do is just try to get in amongst them and just hope for the best. Obviously, there's always a high chance of some following, whether it be stragglers or big herds, but oftentimes the bulls will just be in small little groups, particularly this time of year by themselves, or 1s and 2s and 3s. But it's warm. And bugs have been pretty bad, nice and breezy today, which is ideal. Keeps the bugs down, obviously, but when it's warm, the caribou like to go up in the mountains. It gets cooler, you get bad weather, then they'll come out into the flats where they've got a little better feed. So, set up camp. Boys will be coming back here pretty quick. The hunters, back to Alaska for another fall. Got a long one scheduled, 3 months in the bush. It's going to be a long one, but I'm looking forward to it. Feeling good, feeling healthy and strong. Got the mindset in place, I think. 20 years I've been doing this. Spitting out bearberry seeds for 20 years here in Alaska. Lots changed since I first came up. Lots changed in Alaska. Lots changed for Billy Molls. Been quite a journey thus far. Still love it. Little bit different. Leaving a wife and 3 kids at home every year though, when I was single, footloose, fancy free, not a care in the world. It's all a little different, but at the same time, I don't know, maybe this time that I'm up here in the wilderness, just strangely it almost means that much more that I come and do it, it seems. But yeah, it's an amazing place. Can't imagine my life had I never headed up here 20 years ago. Love this place. She's a little windy up here. Lesson for caribou. Glenn spotted a grizzly bear. He has big ears. Can you see him pretty good? Yeah, his head looks pretty big. He's a young bear. Pretty hides on him though, aren't they? That brownish blonde. Like most every Australian I've met, Glenn and Matt were a pleasure to share a camp with. With their long-awaited Alaskan adventure at hand, their excitement was palpable. Much like my brother and me, I found Matt and Glenn to be opposite in many ways. But the call of the wild and their pursuit as hunters served as the mortar of their relationship. Even with my earplugs in, I could hear snoring when I woke early the next morning. I was surprised as I crawled out of my tent to start coffee to see Glenn, already fully dressed, watching a nearby herd of caribou through the spotting scope. There were 3 sizable groups near camp. The closest was less than a mile away and had a few mature bulls in it. We rousted Matt out of his sleeping bag and began a quick stalk. With nothing but shin-high sedge grass and a fierce south wind to mask our approach, a couple cows eventually spotted us and raised their tails to alert the others. We set up with the intention of taking one, and if the perfect scenario presented itself, 2 of the biggest bulls in the herd. Yeah, the light colored antlers. I'd say that's bull number 2. Bull number 1 is just to the right of him, facing to the right, kind of by himself. Yeah, you can take off your pack, Matt, and just be ready for a second shot if we can pull it off. I think the one you want is now to the left of the other one. Behind the cow? Yep. Yeah, he's mixed together for sure. takes about one step to the right. He's kind of in a hole there. If you're dead on him, you could take it. Just go about 6 inches back of where you normally would. Wait. Okay. Whenever you're ready. Okay, reload. I don't know where you missed. Wait. He's looking at us. There's a big one. The second big one is in front looking at us. Aim right in front of his shoulder.
You good?
Yep. There you hit him. Reload and wait. Alright, I think you hit him good. Matt, you get up. Alright, let's get Matt in there. Is yours down?
I can't see.
Yep, he's down. Alright, you might want to put my pack on top of Glenn's. You need to be a little higher. Still about 300. Just make sure they're separated. Yeah, 270 yards. You up on high power? Okay. Alright, so we'll make sure we're on the right one. The one you want has light colored antlers. I'm pretty sure he's looking back. He just turned forward. Yep, he's real wide. Now he just turned back again.
Yep.
Wait till he's perfectly broadside. Get real steady. Wait until he stops and I'll tell you when. You just look back to the right a little bit. He's looking back now. He's basically the closest one to us. If you like him, if you don't really like him, don't worry about it. He's not as good as he doesn't have great tops. He's long and wide. There's another one kind of towards the back. He has better tops.
Is that the one with the...
He's got real massive tops. Maybe you like the look of that one better. Probably kind of a horse apiece. He's kind of lagging to the back. He's got his white rump to us now. Pretty well in the back. Not the real wide one. Go up about 5 animals. This one's real light antlered too.
To the right?
Yeah, the back of the herd. He's not all the way back. He's about number 20 in the back. He's got his head down, real light colored antlers, real massive on top.
Yeah, real big palms.
That'd be a pretty good one. The thing is, we always run the risk of these buggers going up. They're here one day, gone the next. Among the shameful deeds of my past, there's been occasions where my decisions and actions led to the spoiling of meat. As we mature and evolve as hunter conservationists, our responsibility to do all things necessary to best utilize everything we kill and take from nature eventually overrides our egos and bloodlust. Well, there was one more in this group we were kind of looking at, but they just kind of bunched together and slowly moving away. There's a lot of caribou around, but not much for bulls. More than once, this mindset has cost my clients and me trophies. But over the course of my 30+ years of reaping nature's bounty, I've learned that a peaceful soul and a restful night's sleep are far more valuable and sustainable than having a few extra trophies on a wall. Glenn Luce from Australia, morning day one, not even 6 o'clock yet. Got yourself a nice caribou. Some interesting shooting there.
Yeah, my first shot was, I held the opposite direction.
For the wind.
So we had to follow up with the second shot in the right spot. So
270 meters. Pretty good. Nice bull. First bull in North America. So, pretty happy.
Very nice. We got some decent weather, got some wind keeping the bugs away. Almost got Brother Matt on one, but we're kind of looking at him and waiting for him to separate. Never really did. So yeah, we're gonna get this one taken care of and see about maybe going after another one yet today. So congrats, Glenn. Anything else to add?
All right, thank you very much, Billy.
Yeah. So how long have you been wanting to go to Alaska?
Years.
Years.
My missus got me this for Christmas.
Yeah, and you're actually getting married to the, well, she's not the missus just yet. Here in another week, you guys are getting married here in Alaska, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Should be good.
That's a heck of a honeymoon present there.
That's it.
A honeymoon with your brother.
Thanks very much, Billy.
You betcha. Matt, you want to get in there with him?
No, I'm not going to.
You can tell you're real photogenic. This was the herd we shot him out of. They just started filing straight away. So yeah, they're starting a side hill. Good chance they'll head where this group is over here. So we'll get started to carving and go from there. Hey, when you're done with that, pack it back to camp too. Kind of nice having some young blood in camp. Let them boys do the work. Both of them went and grabbed the heaviest bags. Back in my younger days, I might have argued with them, but my pride's long gone. I got a wife and 3 kids. Not so much anymore. But yeah, these caribou seem to be actually circling. You can see a bunch of them. There was a big herd of them out in that country. The ones we shot, they kind of filed around, went over the hill. So I'm thinking they might be filing around. So we're kind of hoping they seem to be in general, now that it's starting to warm up a little bit, working back towards the mountains. And then our camp's just right over top here. So I don't like to shoot 2 caribou at once, but we're not seeing a ton. We just got this little small group. If we could have, we probably would have, but they kind of blended together, and you don't want to risk anything. So, but yeah, it's a good deal. Early day number 1. Actually, we shot them about 5:30 this morning. Maybe even earlier than that. Maybe closer to 5. Hear the clicking?
Yep.
It's the tendons in their legs snapping back and forth. Oh yeah? Yeah, there's some that have them. That's about how far I like to pack them right there. Gosh, these things are going to cross right by us. Look at that little baby. That's what you come to Alaska for. The ones on the bottom are 360 meters. Yeah, there's one decent bull down there. I think we're just gonna have to appreciate the view. We wouldn't. I never would have dreamed that they'd be coming along there so fast. If we wouldn't have waited there so long, we'd have been able to head those off. That's quite a sight, though. They're grunting like crazy, ain't they? Well, what happened was just one of those deals. Matt and Glenn packed the meat back to camp, so I was a little bit behind them, still packing stuff up. As I'm coming over the hill, Glenn comes over, and there was 2 bulls just right down over here in the willows. He didn't really get a good look at them. Well, we saw this big herd. They were still about 2 miles back. That's now this big herd that's strung out all along here. And so I get back to camp, we take care of the meat, just throw it up real quick, and we ease down, and there's a herd of caribou there. There's a couple bulls. One was decent, but he only had 1 antler, and then they start coming right to us, so we just hang tight. We don't want to booger them, and once they kind of pass by, then we decide, well, let's wrap around, make sure, because we figured that they'd be coming right through here, and we were hoping to get a crack at them right down in this bottom. And when we started wrapping around, all of a sudden, boom, they just started coming, so we set up. We were only about 200 yards away from them, and then, you know, as it always works out, the big bulls, they were just over the backside, and at that point they're moving fast, and we just couldn't catch up to them, and we didn't want to push them too hard. Yeah, I know how fast caribou can move, but I never would have dreamed that they would have scooted through there, because when Glenn and I last saw them, they were just standing milling around feeding, but apparently they obviously decided it was time to saddle up and ride, and phew, they scooted through here pretty quick. Well, it's about noon now, holding our cloud cover. So these caribou they seem to be kind of working their way back to the flats. We got another group. Matt's really photogenic. Smile, Matt. He's smiling. But I don't know, there must be another group that's kind of come in. They're well over 500 caribou. But we last lost the group, they went around the backside, and now they're working, and they seem to be funneling back. So we're going to try to shoot over to this bright green hillside. Camp's just behind that little knoll there on the left. I don't know, we're probably pushing 2 miles away from camp. Hiked over here. Got caribou all along this little knoll. They seem to be pretty happy where they're at. A lot of them are starting to bed down. Kind of made the move, wanted to be in position if they kept moving to intercept them. So it's little afternoon, so we're just gonna sit here. Breeze is keeping the bugs down. A little sprinkle once in a while, but other than that, weather's pretty good, so hang tight, take a nap, see what happens. The instant it started sprinkling, this caribou got up and started moving. Not sure how it's gonna work. There's just so many head there, but we're gonna give it a whirl. So we were waiting up there. Glenn forgot his purse. So we're, now they're moving down there, so we're gonna get to this bottom. Oh, there's a caribou right there. We're boogering, that's not good. But we'll just sneak up along this bottom, see if we can figure something out.
Pack there or something? Yeah, if you could.
Do you want to pack under your elbow?
Probably the front packets.
Alright, we gotta hurry here, because if they get up on that hill, we're screwed. Just throw it right on up there. Watch the... Okay, figure 250. Just as Matt was about to squeeze the trigger, the bull fed below the subtle curvature of the tundra. I slid up alongside Matt to grab the packs and move to higher elevation. As I did, I instructed him to put his rifle on safety. Like many Australian hunters, Matt prefers not to use the safety catch, but rather keep the bolt in an upright position. In the unfamiliar act of flipping on the safety, he touched the trigger, and the rifle roared at arm's reach beside me. I assure you, kumbaya was not the first word out of my mouth. But aside from that incident, the firearm safety of both brothers was impeccable. In the end, no harm was done except to my right eardrum. And to be honest, a deaf ear comes in handy once in a while when my wife is on the rampage of getting chores done around the house. A man of very few words, I knew Matt felt horrible. I made it clear that he was forgiven, and we all agreed it was a solid reminder we should never be too comfortable when handling a firearm, particularly in a desolate wilderness such as this. As a guide, safety is my first priority. Working with hunters from around the world, I constantly conform my approach to accommodate each client's abilities, preferences, and habits.
Okay, on safety. Sneak up real slow. Don't pump your rifle. Don't shoot me in the ass.
Safety. On safety.
How about the high five?
While safety is non-negotiable, had I simply instructed Matt to make his rifle safe, rather than specify the method I prefer, he undoubtedly would have made his rifle safe in the way he was most familiar, and the incident would have never happened. Communication between guide and client is paramount. The lesson learned that day is one of those subtle nuances one only attains through experience. As we ate supper that night, all of us agreed to move forward. Tomorrow offered a new beginning. There's a grizzly sow was chasing some caribou. She never really had a chance, but it's interesting watching this sow with the cub, man. Pretty tough life for that little cub trying to keep up to the sow. Looks like a real young sow, so probably she's a little bit inexperienced trying to catch caribou in the wide open, which it has no chance of doing. Every one of those caribou saw her. But that little cub gonna have a pretty tough existence. Hopefully it can put on enough fat to survive the winter. But day number 2, weather broke early this morning, woke up at 5. Rain had just quit. Got a few patches of blue sky. A little bit of weather over that way, but the wind switched out of the south, so hopefully it warms up a little bit. Not too much, the bugs are bad, but the caribou seem to be coming back to the mountains now. They can sense that warmer weather coming. Interesting, yesterday that herd of 500 we were on, just the instant you could feel, I felt it just cool down just a tinge, had a couple drops of rain, and then all of a sudden, boom, those caribou were up and moving. There's something over there, looks like a wolf. Yeah, that's a wolf right there, about 800-900 yards out. Looks like a pretty young one. I'm sure he smells us and or our camp. Wind's blowing pretty much right from us to him, and our caribou kills 600 yards back and to our left. We were thinking it was the wolf that had moved the carcass. Might be this wolverine. Because the rib cage was moved, we noticed we couldn't see that. We could see everything else. He's scooting along pretty quick, isn't he? 10:30, day number 2. Seeing a lot of caribou. They're just lots of cows and calves, and they're spread out. You know, obviously we can see way out into the tundra for many more miles than what we can possibly walk, care to. It's pretty slow for the most part. Weather's changing back and forth. Little rain here, right on the edge of the mountains. Just a lot of factors at play on the weather here. So, but it's generally been windy enough to keep the bugs down for the most part, which is nice. They've been brutal when it is calm. But hopefully it's stable. It looks like it's stabilizing a little bit out here across the tundra. It looks like the clouds have raised a little bit, a few showers here and there, but So we're just hunting real long days. Got up at 5 today and camped up on this ridge here. Every once in a while, if we wake up in the middle of the night or real early in the morning, it's basically 24 hours of daylight right now. So, you know, if we wake up, just put the boots on and truck around the mountain. Make sure there's nothing within a couple of miles of camp. If there isn't, go back to bed. Can't say that I've ever found a caribou hoof before. Guess it's still left over. All kinds of stuff to find out here. Wish I knew more about geology. There's all kinds of fossils and coral and all kinds of things here. I've never been real good at finding stuff off the ground or recognizing it, I guess, probably more than anything. Some resident hunter is going to spot that thing on his head and walk over here and shoot at him. As good as red deer?
Better than red deer, mate.
Think so?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a big difference. You eat that a month from now, it's just not quite as good.
It'll have gamey taste.
I don't know. Yeah, it's got its own unique taste. It's pretty mild. Yeah, it's amazing. Early season caribou, you shoot them late July, early August. Big difference when you get one in the later part of August into September. Not that they taste bad, but they're just really mild. They seem to be more tender. Yeah, I never really noticed it till a few years ago and started doing more early caribou hunts. Meat's a lot better. I was always kind of ho-hum on caribou, but I love it in the early season. It's good. This is what it looks like behind us. I've seen lightning no more than a handful of times in 20 years. It's so fascinating to see, watch the weather and everything that's at play. So you got these flats going out to the Arctic Ocean for 100 miles, and then you got these mountains and the weather that it creates. It's phenomenal to watch. I don't really understand it a little bit. I can kind of usually tell what's going to happen by what I see oftentimes, but I mean, I don't understand how and why it happens, but it's phenomenal. The diversity of Alaska's landscape creates both its majesty and its volatility. As various air masses from the frigid waters of the Arctic Ocean meet the open tundra plains and stall against the towering mountain ranges, they produce weather systems of every scale imaginable. Alaska's extreme and unpredictable weather is without question the greatest challenge for both the hunter and wildlife. A hunter's first indicator that a shift in the weather is approaching is often a change in the animal's movement patterns. The 1,000 or so caribou we had been seeing did not return to the mountains that day. They knew something was coming. The maddening swarms of bugs had abated just enough to allow the caribou to scatter and feed about in no predictable pattern, which makes them very difficult for predators like us to ambush them. This is Alaska you don't see enough of. Just went on about a 4-mile round trip stalk. Almost home. Bugs are eating us alive. Matt missed a tough shot. Caribou were moving. We were hunting 12 hours. Long story short, no bull, and we're about to get poured on. Fun, fun, fun. This is a pretty familiar place. Under the tarp, the rain peppering down. Looks like more of the same today. Mosquitoes and rain, not much wind unfortunately. Bugs are pretty bad this morning. Seen a few caribou out and about, but no bulls yet. Yeah, just frustrating. Not many bulls around. Not a lot of caribou by any stretch, but they're moving around. So day 3, hopefully we can maybe put her together, get her done today. We've had a lot of narrow misses. Just the way that goes sometimes. A little bit frustrating, but we're gonna keep hunting hard, keep our eyes open. If we get an opportunity, we're gonna do our best to make the most of it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that back one's a bull, Matt. How hungry are you?
375.
Pull it out.
I'll probably shoot it from here too.
Pretty nice pack out. Yeah, we could just throw that one right on Glenn's shoulder. This is the 3rd adult bear we've seen here. They're all over the place. Makes you wonder if those wolves nab those cubs once in a while.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Well, there's a line of caribou coming above them.
Oh, yeah.
There's one bull.
One bull to the right.
Yep. This is like a zoo here. Grizzly sow and a cub. Monkeying around with a wolf. Yeah, there's crows in there. Then we just got this group of caribou that came over the ridge.
Have you go straight down from where the bear is?
Yep.
To the creek?
Yep.
That's where the wolf disappeared into last night when he didn't come out of there.
Oh, so maybe the wolf killed the caribou or something, and now the grizzly bear stole it because the wolves are there, or the ravens are there. So there's got to be something. Because I noticed those ravens earlier this morning up on the up on that rocky knob up above them.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, there's always something going on somewhere. That's pretty cool. Looks to me like that wolf is just baiting that bear. Yeah, he wants her to chase him.
Yeah, I think it's probably to get it away from whatever's there.
Right.
Because he seems to just lay down.
Right.
And then the bear goes a little closer.
Bugs are getting to her. A little bit of a limp. Wind switched out of the north. We got this cloud bank moving in on us, bumping up against the mountains and just hanging tight, so fair chance we could get socked in here in real short order. We got a group hanging somewhere over on the backside of this mountain, or at least we think. We last saw them going up there yesterday. We think it's the same group. They came right past us here. There's one small bull in there, definitely the low end of what we're looking for, but we're just not seeing a lot right now. First day we saw a lot of nice bulls. We're right on the edge of the mountains. We're getting socked in a hurry. All these caribou that we've been watching the last couple of days. Up on the top of that mountain where they were bedded. We're Hoping they'll come down now. Definitely plenty cool. They're up on their feet. You having fun, fellas? Beautiful day in Alaska. Fogged in this morning about 9 o'clock. We got up about an hour and a half ago, I suppose. So about when we got up, it looked like it was clearing. There's blue sky above, but it's just squashed down. We got a north wind, so we got that air coming from the Arctic Ocean. It'll break eventually, just a matter of when. 11 o'clock, finally breaking up. Just all of a sudden, bam, that sun started shining. But what we figured, now the sun pokes out, just like they've been doing every day. Now the caribou are coming back for the hills, the mountains. Got a few in sight. This area is just starting to open up. There is a couple pretty good bulls right about in there. So those are about 2 miles away, and they just move so darn fast that it's almost all but impossible to get on them unless they start angling our way a little bit. So we got probably 100 head down there. There's a few scattered out over here. I'm gonna go glass this country here as it opens up. It's nice being camped on top of a ridge because you don't have to go very far to see. The one bad thing is you got to climb uphill to get water and get pestered by bugs. So I'm gonna get out of here. They're eating me alive. This bear is following this little caribou calf, coming right at us. Hopefully he walks right on by us, but we're gonna be ready either way. That gets you puckered up a little bit. That old ice water veins mat. This bear was coming right in following this cow. I told the guys, I'm like, yeah, hopefully he'll just sneak downwind of us, get our wind and run. That's a good sign when they do that. Usually they'll leave you alone. It means they've been trained at some point to stay away from humans. Yeah, you guys have seen, we've seen a ton of bears. At least 5 different adult bears. I had the old smoke pole loaded and ready. 1 warning shot. That's about all I do anymore. I let them get in pretty close before I'll give them one. If they don't listen, they're in trouble. And he's just doing what a bear should do. But up in this country, they live a pretty tough life. 2:30 in the morning. Matt and Glenn stayed up. I don't know, they said they were going to stay up till about midnight, or that was kind of the plan. I went to bed about, I don't know, sometime after 10. But So they stayed up a little later. The deal was I'd get up at 3 o'clock and cruise around, see if the caribou got up, or see if there's anything moving around. Coming out of the high country, it was so hot last night. Still fairly warm for 2:30 in the morning, but as you can see, guy could easily shoot right now. Seeing a few caribou around. There's one right there. But no herds to speak of. Just gonna cruise down over here, peek over this edge. So then I'll just get back up 5 or 6, something like that. Morning, day 5. 6 a.m. That herd that was over behind this mountain, they're out here right now. We're hoping they would have had come out into the tundra, but it just didn't get cool enough, I guess. So they're sticking close to the mountains. They almost seem to be heading up. It's warm already. Mosquitoes, a few mosquitoes are out already. Wind's out of the south. Oh, a little after 7. Sun's up, heating up fast. Caribou are already well on the move, heading to the mountains. Get away from the bugs. This is pretty telling of what the caribou are doing right now and what lengths they'll go to get away from the bugs. Yeah, they're up in sheep country pretty much. Yeah, and so very, very few bulls. Just cows and calves, pretty much all we're seeing. Well, the boys just showed up. Actually, Jake got here a little bit ago, so we're doing the hurry up job, pack her up. We're gonna go to a different camp where some other guys moved yesterday where there's more caribou. They just killed a couple this morning, so we're gonna move into their camp. Got one more day, try to get her done, see if we can do it. Pretty amazing machine somebody thought of. Pretty good breeze. Jake can definitely feel it, but I'll just point right into it. Make it easy for him. Pretty sweet. Like any team or business, a good hunting outfit is one in which all members know and perform their roles to the best of their abilities. Pilots, guides, cooks, packers, right on down to the poor sap that digs the outhouse hole. With only one day left in his hunt, we decided to move 60 miles to a tiny range of hills where a few thousand caribou had congregated. Matt and I set out to hijack a camp where fellow guide John Anderson's clients had just tagged out on 2 mature bulls. Moving camps cost considerable time and money. While beautiful lodges and chefs with big white hats look great in glossy brochures, I believe service in the field most distinguishes the quality of an outfitter. Now that's not to say if a client was a good enough tipper that I wouldn't wear one of those fancy foo-foo hats as I boiled water for his freeze-dried dinner. I mean, I'm all for refining my client's experience, just as long as he licks his spoon clean and stores it in his pocket until the next meal, like everybody else. don't know if it's a blessing or a curse being able to see so much country. This means more walking. 20 minutes into first morning here, we've probably hiked more than we did the last 5 days, huh, man? We're cruising some rolling hills where the caribou have been hanging up during the heat of the day. Had a ton of rain last night. So we're heading up in some of this high rolling country. Matt's last hunting day. Feeling good? And get her done. Glenn was pretty much dead weight, so we left him at base camp. He's doing a little fishing today. And handy having water up this high. Telling you, Matt, bulls in the mist. He's gonna come right out. Couple hundred head down on that slope. Probably another couple hundred scattered out down here. John said yesterday about 10 o'clock, once it warmed up, they all migrated up here. Looks like they're already starting to do that. Caribou got a nice little trail here for us. Been using these hills for centuries. Oh yeah, looks like this herd's kind of lining out now and starting to move pretty good. Another smaller wave a little farther back. The wind's pretty much about like this. So most likely probably will happen is they'll come head for that hill or this hill, get up in the high country, get away from the bugs as best they can. Well, that's caribou hunting. It's kind of a screwball deal. We're sitting here in the fog, in and out of the fog, and I just kind of peeked over, walked about 100 yards away from John and Matt. Cow comes, another cow, and another cow. And I thought it was this little group of 5, and it was just a herd of 200. So I was kind of standing there, and those guys really couldn't get a clear shot, and then by the time they could get a clear shot, they were too far out. So they worked up this hill. Good news is they weren't boogered, but just kind of running all over the countryside. There's so many eyes on you. When one pegs you, you can't move. So we're gonna sneak up here. Last time we saw them, they were just walking over the ridge. So, I don't know. Yeah, it's caribou hunting. About the time you think you got it figured out, you're running around like an idiot with you, like a chicken with your head cut off. He's kind of facing us, it looks like. Yeah. All right, stay on, wait till he's perfectly broadside. Go ahead and lower your bolt. Make sure he's perfectly still, perfectly broadside. Wait till he stops. The one that's by himself. Wait till it, wait. You need to move? Yeah. Alright, let's move. Alright, get in position, lock your bolt down. Lock your bolt down. Okay, he's in the lead of those bulls.
good and steady, wait for him to stop. Smoke him if you like it. Wait. Okay, you really like it? He's the far one.
Yep.
Wait for him to stop. Right in the center of his shoulder, squeeze it slow. Squeeze it real slow. Right over him. Just hold the main crosshair just over his back.
It's the one that's sort of walking a bit funny.
Oh, you might have hit him. Yeah.
Again?
Yeah, you turn to the left. Yep, hit him again. Okay. Use the same crosshair. I think you hit him. Either that or put the main crosshair right above his shoulder.
Yeah, I'll just go back on him.
Okay. He's facing away from us.
You all right?
Yep, yep. There you got him. Reload. His head went down. Yeah, I think he's done. That was about the most nonsensical caribou hunt I've ever done.
I hate these top lighters.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
Last day. That's a pretty good bull.
Do not tell Glenn I used 2 of his round.
That's awesome, dude.
Well, that's pretty much exactly where we passed that one up first thing this morning. John and I were talking, you know, if it's day one, all you do is you just get up high and you look, and things would probably, of course, hindsight's 20/20, and whether it would have happened or not, the wind was kind of wrong for us to sit there, but right up there at this biological or geological tower, whatever kind of survey tower they got here. But yeah, there was a big herd down below, and obviously we had no clue which way they were going to go, so we tried working in on them through the fog and got bunged up a couple of times, but in the end it worked out. But when you get towards the last day of a caribou hunt, you do a lot of crazy stuff you wouldn't ordinarily do because you got to try to get it done in one day. But it's just big open country and there's lots of eyes, so looks like he's got a pretty big body, unfortunately. Maybe it makes the rack appear smaller than it is. Glenn's was an old bull, had pretty short teeth.
Beautiful boy take home.
Yeah. We chased after smaller. Yeah, that last shot was. Oh, was your right? What was it on at? 200?
Bang on at 200.
Okay. Yeah, that should have been about right. Yeah, it's a little high. Pretty much hit right where you're aiming, I guess, that last shot. But well, that's not too shabby at all for the last day. I know you love the camera and the camera loves you, Matt. So we took her down to the wire, man.
Yeah, last day. We shot this little fella. Just like to thank Billy and John. Thank you very much.
Getting the lube on.
He's getting his suntan lotion going. Anticipating some beautiful weather. Thank you, John.
Oh God, thank you guys. Good times.
Oh yeah, there's a pretty good mob up on that hill. The ones that we were chasing, they're joining up with that other mob. But no, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I've ever had a more chaotic, haywire caribou hunt in all my years. But we just got lucky at the end, and yeah, it was nice coming into a spot where we knew there were some decent bulls. So yeah, congrats, man. It's been a pleasure hunting with you and Glenn. Hopefully Glenn will have some fish for us to eat for supper tonight if we make it back to base camp, but we'll see. But no, we had a pretty unique experience. What would you what are your thoughts of the experience in the, I guess, 7 days now that you've been in Alaska? Anything to add for us, Matt?
It's a good place. Yeah, it stays light for a while.
Understatement of the year. These little white socks or no-see-ums, whatever you want to call them. They're nasty. Like to get in around your wrist, you get a little blood on you. Bite hard. Yep, we'd have just sat right here. Good bull just walked right in below us. Where is he now? Is he down in that green stuff? A bigger bull?
Yeah, it was a few minutes ago.
We are out of here. John's got the cape, I got the antlers. Matt's got all the meat. Like a good Aussie should.
I got both cameras and knives.
Yep. I got my binos, my rain gear. Heading for home. Journey's almost over. But as you can see, there's camp. We put on about a 6-7 mile loop today. There's a big old bull. A half mile from the tents, not even. I don't have my...
Let Billy look through your back.
Might get right up on him.
He's just looking right, yeah.
Yeah, he's wide and tall anyway. Anybody can shoot him next to camp.
As promised.
I wish it was us. Yeah, I'd say that's as big as any bull we've seen. I haven't really seen what he's got on for tops, but...
After flying halfway around the world in search of their own Alaskan adventure, it was a blessing Glenn and Matt didn't fill both tags that first morning. As majestic and inspiring as the Alaskan wilderness is, the depth and complexity of it is so much clearer and more compelling when viewed through the lens of a hunter. The Aussies never gushed about it, but I know their Alaskan adventure was everything they hoped it would be. I could see it in their eyes as they gazed at the mountains each morning, by their comments and questions as they studied all the wildlife through my spotting scope, and in the way they helped process and pack the animals they had taken from the land. Like most hunters, Glenn and Matt had dreamed of the Alaskan wilderness. Unlike most hunters, they took action. Just like the Alaskan caribou, Glenn and Matt answered the calling, the instinct to migrate into a new land, into new experiences, and for a brief season, experience new life. Just as running water is clean and fresh, and stagnant water grows algae and smells foul, I've found life to be best lived as we embrace new challenges, venture forward into new adventures, meet new people and experience their cultures. The hardships endured, lessons learned, and perspectives gained are what gives life its flavor. After 22 years, I'm still migrating to the wilds of Alaska. I still can't put into words what compels me to go, nor can I explain most of how I feel or what I experience when I'm there. It wouldn't surprise me if Matt's got all that stuff figured out and he just doesn't want to tell anybody. When I look at those timeless caribou trails in the Brooks Range, I see a beacon left behind for the caribou of today. Those faded paths lead me to think of my own life, my legacy. Leaving my family for months at a time isn't easy. Every season when I kiss them goodbye, there's always a voice inside my head that wonders if this will be the last time I ever see them. But I go. Not only for me, but also for them. I venture into the wilderness because it's who I am. It's where life makes sense, and where I find my greatest peace on this earth. I believe there's no greater inheritance I can leave my children and their children than a trail of footprints leading over the mountain and into the wilderness that's called me since I was a boy. I don't expect them to follow my course. I simply want them to have the courage to dream and migrate throughout their lives along whatever path God lays on their heart.
Crazy happens, pull the white knob back. You know that, right?
Well, I do now.
Okay. And the red knob out if it gets really crazy.
I like caribou hunting and I don't like caribou hunting. Because it's always this kind of stuff. It's just seemingly when you do things right, it won't work out. And then all of a sudden just you almost do things wrong and then it does work. Matt, you want to get in there with him?
No, I'm not good.
You can tell you're real photogenic. The camera loves you.
It'll go on about the 13th throw.
4.
12 or 13.
Anything you want to say to the camera? Anything you want to say to your adoring fans?
I'm just amused.
So when you're out in public and you see another guy with a beard like that, you just automatically walk up and talk to him? Say, hey man, how long you been growing your beard?
Not yet.
Yes. Caribou hunting. About the time you think you got it figured out, you run around like an idiot with like a chicken with your head cut off. As a treat, Glenn gives us 10 minutes of music every day.
The week's worth of growing.
Yeah. That's a 5 o'clock shadow for Matt. 5 o'clock, a year and a half, you say?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Did you ever have one that long before?
The last one was probably about a year.
Okay, what made you shave it?
Something to do.
Mm-hmm. Good excuses, any, I guess. You always got starter trouble. Are you wanted in Australia or maybe another country for something, Matt?
Could be.
Uh-huh. He doesn't take that head net off. Is that a superstition thing, Matt?
What's that?
One sandal, one boot. Is your back sore or you're trying to get it back in line or what?
Just half ready this morning.
You love the And if I put my rain gear on at this point, I'll probably sweat more than this rain's about to pound on us. Good night. How's that working for you?
Great. I get my cardio in and everything.
Ooh, a little early. Were you ready for it?
Yeah, what was that?
About number 9 or 8.
For more information on other DVDs, books, and modern-day mountain man apparel, log on to BillyMolls.adventures.com. Here you'll also find information on Alaskan hunting opportunities with Billy for Dall sheep, caribou, moose, brown bear, grizzly bear, as well as white-tailed deer hunting in Wisconsin. Much of Billy's off-season is devoted to public speaking. He travels across the country sharing his knowledge and passion for the wilderness at corporate events, schools, conservation organizations, wild game dinners, Christian outreach events, and much more. Billy is a master storyteller. Attendees are sure to be entertained, educated, and inspired. Log on or call for more information.